So in this video I'll be showing you how to remove your acrylic nails at home yourself. So there will be a few things you'll need to get started. You'll need your 100 or 180 grit file, a 180 or 240 grit file and a 100-180 grit buffer. You'll also need some kitchen foil, a lint-free wipe or cotton wool. Some of you may also have removal clips instead of your foil, that's fine. So you'll be using your acetone with your lint-free wipe or cotton wool, placing it in the foil and wrapping it around your finger, or alternatively, if you have the clips, you just place the lint-free wipe with the acetone onto your nail and then place the clip onto your nail. Doesn't matter which way you do it, both will work. You'll then also need your cuticle pusher. This will be to tidy up your cuticles and remove the product. If you don't have a metal cuticle pusher, that's fine. An orange wood stick will do the job just as well. You'll then need your cuticle remover and cuticle oil, and this will go on towards the end once we've removed the products. So then you'll need either a base coat, top coat or nail strengthener to protect your nails at the end. If you do choose a nail strengthener, just make sure you follow the instructions exactly how they say. So now we're going to go in with our either 150 grit, 120 grit or 100 grit file. Doesn't matter which one as long as you're using one of those. And we're going to start by just removing the colour from the acrylic. Once you start to break through the colour, you should then see patches, and that is showing that you've reached the acrylic. You're no longer filing gel. But let's just start with removing all that colour fully first. So now we've filed all the gel colour off the nail. It doesn't matter if you've got a tiny little bit around the border, but the majority is off the acrylic, and we now are only left with the acrylic. We need to work on thinning the acrylic. The thinner the acrylic, the quicker it's going to soak off. So the thickest part is towards the top end of the nail, the top end of the body towards the free edge of the nail, and that's the bit we need to focus on thinning so we can clip it down. So every now and then I will just check the nail from the side view, and this will give me an indication of how thin the nail is becoming. So if it's starting to look quite flat, you're getting there. And then you can also just look down the front of the nail and look at the thickness as well, and that will also tell you if you're thinning it out enough. So now we've thinned out the product enough from the top, we need to look under the nail and determine if we've got a little bit of natural nail with a little bit of acrylic, or if it's all natural nail or all acrylic. So here you can see I've got a tiny bit of natural nail showing, and then the rest of the extension is still acrylic. So I'm actually going to clip off what is remaining of acrylic up so it butts up to my natural nail, and this will help speed up the removal process. So you can just see I'm coming in from the sides with toenail clippers, and I'm just clipping off all the excess acrylic. So where we've clipped down the free edge, we've now exposed a thicker free edge, so we've got to file this a little bit thinner again. So just like we did before, we're going to come in with the same file and just file a little bit on top until that free edge is looking a lot thinner. So now we're working much closer to the natural nail. We're thinning the product quite a lot. So where we're using quite a coarse file, which isn't made to file on top of the natural nail, we need to start being really careful. So the moment you can see that you're exposing any natural nail plate, you need to stop. Here I'm just looking down the barrel at the thickness, and this is a good thickness now to go in and soak. So now you want to come in with your cuticle oil and just place it all around and under the nail. This just helps protect the nail from the acetone and also speeds up removal time. So now you'll need your acetone. your foil and your lint-free wipe, or your foil and your clip, and you're going to place it onto your nail and wrap it tightly or clip it tightly. You need to make sure the pad has enough acetone on it, so not that it's dripping but that it's saturated enough so it removes quickly, and you're going to leave this to soak for about 25 to 30 minutes. After about 15 minutes, I suggest you check on it, because if the acetone does start to dry out and you leave it on longer without checking, then actually nothing's going to happen and you're going to be there a long time, as you'll have to repeat the process again. So after about 15 minutes, the product should be soft enough that you can start getting a little bit off. You won't be able to get all of it off at this stage, so just take your time and don't force it. If the product doesn't want to move, do not try and force it with the cuticle pusher, as this will just damage your natural nail. So here I'm removing what I can, and then as soon as it gets to the point where I feel like I'm really having to force the product to get it off, I'm going to stop, and then I'm going to come in with my softer grit file, so the 180 grit, and I'm just going to lightly file on top of the product. It's really important you try not to hit your natural nail, as again this can damage your nail, so just focusing on where the acrylic is and give it a light file. So I'm also going to use this file to start shaping my natural nail, take down any little bit of length that needs to be taken down, and just make it nice and tidy. Once I'm happy with the shape, I'm going to check the thickness again, make sure I've filed that extra bit of acrylic thin enough, and then I'm going to come back in, apply a little bit more of my oil, and then rewrap with some more acetone. So I've left the nails for about another 10 minutes or so, so now I'm going to come back in and check, and at this point hopefully you should be able to get everything off. If not, you just simply repeat that process again, file a tiny bit if you need to, and rewrap, leaving it for another 5–10 minutes. So now I'm coming in with my 100 and 180 grit buffer. I'm going to start with the coarser side first, which is the 100 side, and I'm just smoothing over the natural nail. So the aim here isn't to over buff the nail, because again that can cause damage, so it's just smoothing down, having a feel, making sure there's no rough bits of acrylic left on the nail. And then once I'm happy, I'm going to switch to the smoother side of the buffer, and again just smooth over slightly, so not over buffing, just making sure everything feels nice and smooth, ready for the next step. This next stage is optional. I'm now coming in with my cuticle remover. I'm going to apply a little bit around the cuticle area, and I'm just going to push back. This just keeps your nails looking nice and tidy. It encourages healthy growth, stops the cuticle area from looking really dry and overgrown. So yeah, if you've got cuticle remover, you may as well do this every week. So I'm now coming in with my metal cuticle pusher, and I'm using the spoon side to push back what we call the proximal nail fold. This is commonly known as the cuticle area. You want to be nice and gentle, so if something doesn't want to move, don't force it, it should never hurt. Once you've pushed back, you're then going to come in with the blade side of the cuticle pusher. If this is a new cuticle pusher, you need to be really careful, as the blade can be very sharp and you can damage the natural nail. So just make sure the blade is sitting nice and flat, you're hardly applying any pressure, and you're not digging into the nail. So at this stage now, you want to really wash your hands, get rid of any excess cuticle remover before coming into the next stage. And now you're going to come in with either your chosen base coat, top coat, or nail strengthener. I'm going in with a nail strengthener here, so I'm actually going in and applying 2 coats, allowing each coat to dry in between. And then yeah, this is just acting as a little bit of protection. So once that's dry, you're then going to come in with your cuticle oil and give it a good rub in. So really you want to be applying your base, top or strengthener every other day. Layer it up and then every week remove it and start again. This will just protect your nails, hopefully preventing them from chipping and breaking too much. And I would suggest keeping your nails nice and short until I see you again. Alright guys, I hope that made sense. If you've got any questions, please message me and I will help where I can. Thank you.